Here we go. It's another beautiful week. Welcome to Waffle-Free Storytelling. It's Tina Konstant here. And, jibber jabbers at the end. So we're jumping right into this week's story, which is called For the People We Love. Now, this all started in a small village that consisted really only of a few families who lived on a tiny island in the middle of the ocean. The island, to a few, was a place of bliss and pure heaven. Everything they needed and everything they wanted just came to their shores. For others, it was a floating prison. People traveled to the mainland often enough to know that there was life and adventure and bright shining things to be had over there. So naturally, dissatisfaction grew, and it didn't take long for persuasion to become so strong that those who were once happy were convinced that they were miserable, and the whole village decided to abandon the island and move to the mainland. All except Old Man Granzy. He was the oldest man alive as far as anyone in the village knew. He seemed to have been born right out of the rocks with the sea flowing through his veins. He spoke languages the birds and the fish could understand, and he wove the most powerfully strong baskets and fishing nets anyone had ever seen. Everyone tried to persuade Old Man Granzy to move, but not even his favorite grandchild, Anchilla, who begged him, not even she could convince him to move to the mainland. Well, day after day, as departure preparations were carried out, Old Man Granzy sat where he always sat, at the edge of the cliff, on the very southern tip of the island, weaving baskets. Anchilla tried to persuade him to join them, but he still refused. And so, with a heavy heart, but let's be honest, an undeniably excited mind, Anchilla and the village got into their boats and they set off for the mainland, leaving the old man behind. Now, the first few weeks in this new place were exciting. There was so much to do and so much to see. Anchilla saw more bright lights and heard more new sounds than she ever thought were possible. The next weeks, though, were harder. The lights, they always came on at dawn, and Anchilla saw the emptiness behind all that shine. And the weeks after that, well, they were profoundly painful. Work was proving hard to come by. Nature was well beyond the town limits, and unlike their island, food wasn't just there for the picking. And the locals recognized the villagers as newcomers, and they did not reach out their hands in friendship. With empty bellies and breaking hearts, the villagers all gathered one early dawn to find comfort with each other. They sang old songs, and they told ancient stories, and they lit a fire to warm them. And that's when Anchilla looked out over the ocean and she cried out, "Look," she said. Everyone gathered, and sure enough, bobbing in the water just beyond the waves, the villagers couldn't believe what they saw. Baskets upon basket upon basket. The weave was unmistakable. These were the baskets made by Old Man Granzy. The people swam out and pulled those baskets to shore. Oh my goodness, each one was full to the brim with fish. The villagers ate their fill and then dried the rest and took them to the town market where, you won't believe this, they sold even before they were unpacked. The next week the villagers went back to the beach, and again, just beyond the waves, the baskets, woven by the unmistakable hand of Old Man Granzy, bobbed away, each one teeming with fish. And so the villagers thrived, more than thrived. They became famous for their fish, and more than their fish, their baskets. The craftsmanship of the weave was so remarkable that people traveled from all over the land to buy one. Over the years that followed, the baskets full of fish arrived every week. Only Anchilla didn't feel the joy of their newfound and growing security and success. Every week when the villagers went to the beach to gather the baskets, Anchilla thought of her grandfather. He must be 110 by now. How was he still weaving baskets? So it was on one warm summer's day, Anchilla got into her boat and she sailed home. When she landed on the shore, she looked up to the cliffs, and sure enough, there was Old Man Granzy, her precious granddad. He was bent and frail, but he was calm and serene. Until ran to those cliffs, and she hugged the old man, vowing to stay with him and help wherever she could. He laughed, and he handed her the reeds, and then slowly and patiently he started to teach Anchilla how to weave baskets. "That's it," he said, as he watched his granddaughter outdo and exceed his own craftsmanship, sending basket after basket into the waves to be filled with fish. "That is how you care for the people you love." And that's it, beautiful human. Just a little story for you today. So, yeah, that's it. Our ancestors, they send things our way over the waves, and we pick them up or we miss them, but either way, one way or another, we need them. So, what are you doing today? What do you got planned this week? What glorious thing are you going to do this week that you can look back on and go, "Oh my goodness, I did that." Hey, in between all of that, drop around to www.tinakonstant.com and enjoy the other shows and all sorts of other shenanigans going on there. And if you haven't joined the Fireside yet, just there's a sign-up form right there. Just drop in, say hi, it'll be good to see you. All right, have a splendid and beautiful week, and I'll see you next time for more wild shenanigans from the Waffle-Free universe. Bye-bye now.